Number 7. Entrepreneurs, Managers, and Leaders, EML. What is your leadership strength? Your personality, genes, upbringing, approach, skills, passions, beliefs, stage in life, role in a business, mindset, and life experience are all factors that go into making you who you are. They will also define your leadership strength and style. Now, that strength and style can change as you mature and learn, your company grows, or your responsibilities expand. If you know yourself, you're likely to have a core of values that never changes, but your style and how you behave and express yourself may go through transformations over time. There are many stories about how a board of directors, investors, colleagues, or a co-founder of a company finally came to the conclusion that the founding entrepreneur had to go. Yes, it was a great idea and good start, and nobody else could have done it. But now the entrepreneur has become a liability, making others uncomfortable. He's being unruly, obstinate, single-minded, uncooperative, uneconomical, unstructured, and unmanageable. Time to bring in the manager. Then, finally, the leader. By taking a constant beating from reality in my various startups, I've developed from being an entrepreneur to becoming a manager to finally facing the challenges of the leader. Now, you might ask, what's the difference? I think there's a huge difference, and it's all about your focus, skills, and strengths. I suggest that leadership comes in 3 different main styles: the entrepreneur, the manager, and the leader. The entrepreneur. My job is to realize my ideas. It's all about me. The manager. My job is administration. It's all about an efficient organization. The leader. My job is people. It's all about others. The first transformation, from entrepreneur to manager, was no real challenge for me as a graduate from business school. When I started my first company, I wasn't new to the world of finance, strategy, and organizational charts. However, I cared more about realizing my ideas than I did about the people I worked with. So let's start with the starter. The entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is an innovator, bringing new ideas. The essence of entrepreneurship is really to get others to believe in your idea. Customers, people you recruit, investors, and others who you need to make your dream come true. You need to communicate, to be relentless, persistent, energetic, and trust that your instincts are right when everybody else is trying to prove you wrong, or when they are just plainly indifferent to whatever your vision is. This has also created the cliché of the lone entrepreneur, a man, and increasingly a woman, fighting against the ignorance of a world that doesn't care, just to win in the end and become stinking rich. In any case, the mindset of the entrepreneur is focused on the idea. It's also a very egocentric mindset. Me, me, me. My idea, my idea, my idea. There are just as many reasons for starting a business, organization, or project as there are entrepreneurs. However, in my experience, it's usually not about the money or the glory. It's because there are no alternatives. You just have to try that idea that will not leave your head. Many people think that entrepreneurs are risk-takers with an appetite for adventure and life in the fast lane. I can only speak for myself. I never saw startups as a way to get my adrenaline kicks. Quite the opposite. I think it's a way to reduce risk. In your own company, you can control your destiny far more easily than if you're playing a small role in a big corporation under constant pressure from the stock market and the risk of restructuring and layoffs. Of course, it all depends on how you view it. Starting companies from scratch and making ideas come true, all the way from a blank sheet of paper to a successful business, is a lifestyle that requires much energy and persistence. But in the end, it's nothing more than a job, nothing glamorous. The entrepreneur just does what they have to do. If your goal is to make money, then it's maybe easier to become an investment banker. The manager. When a young company grows, it's less about the idea and more about managing a growing organization and allocating the resources needed for growth.